Ideogram has just turned 1. They've just gone from their pre-release versions of version 0.1 and 0.2 to version 1, which means now they're ready to go out into the world and show everyone what they're capable of. They're no longer in alpha, they're no longer in pre-release. Everything's gone huge, and the question, is it worth your hard-earned dollar? In this video, we're going to test the free version and really see if it's worth your time, and then we're going to talk about the price of upgrading and if it's worth doing. When it launched, Ideogram was really known as the first to market with the ability to create images with text inside of them. They did it before DALL-E 3, they did it before Midjourney version 6, but was it enough to stay ahead? Now they've added a whole bunch of features claiming they have the best prompt coherence, which means if you have multiple pieces to the image, they go in the right place. Can it win? We're going to look at improving past images I've created, some of their promises, testing the new magic prompt feature, and comparing it to my Image Wars tests from a couple of days ago to see if it can compete with Midjourney, DALL-E 3, Stable Diffusion, and of course, Leonardo. So we're going to do a whole bunch of really cool tests in this video, and we're going to find out if Ideogram is worth your time. Let's hit that music because this is going to be a good one. So very exciting. Just a few hours ago, Ideogram announced version 1.0. This is a big deal because it means they've moved out of alpha and beta, where you give a partial number. They were at 0.1, then 0.2 for quite a few months now. And to jump to 1.0 means they finally feel ready to show the world what they have and what they can do. And they've made this cool little video showing all the things they can do, demonstrating basically the text coherence is what they're really excited by, which means that this text here in the demonstration, not only are all the words spelled correctly, it looks like the same font, which is one of the most important things to look at. They have some other examples that they're showing in this video, which is worth watching. They posted this to X, or maybe you call it Twitter. And they have this blog post announcing the Ideogram 1.0 just in time for Leap Day. They announced on February 28th, which is awesome. You can see the demonstrations from their video help people become more creative in a lot of different styles. Ideogram is known for images that have text inside it. They were first to market with this feature. Shortly afterwards, DALL-E came out with the feature about a month after they released to market. And then 4 or 5 months later, Midjourney added the feature, but they were the first ones and really dominated for a little while. The question is, have they recaptured their space? They make a lot of promises about the character error rate, how they have the lowest error rate. It's not 0. They just say it's lower than everyone else. Their examples are always going to be the best version of everything that they do. They're also talking about 2 other really important features. Ideogram has always been a one-trick pony. It's always been seen, certainly by me, I'm guilty of this, of seeing as something that you only use if you want text and an image. Honestly, only if I wanted to have a cartoonish or Pixar look. Have things changed? Here they have a photorealistic picture of a woman that looks like she's in a subway scene from The Matrix. You can see someone holding a photograph on a photograph. This does look real to me. This is quite real. They're doing some very interesting things. They're talking about artistic styles, which I really like. I really like what's happening in this artistic style, especially. Very interesting with the puzzle. And what's really exciting is that they give you a bunch of examples of their best and they give you the prompt. You can test this prompt in Ideogram to see how well it works, to see if they're telling the truth. They also have a new feature called Magic Prompt, which means you can write a small prompt and it will write a longer one. This is similar to what Midjourney does. Midjourney calls it raw. Midjourney's natural state is to be in a beautification mode or try to make the image better than what you described. Raw is where you turn that off and it actually listens to the prompts. They give a name for when you turn it off. Magic Prompt is the name for when you turn it on with Ideogram. Let's take a look inside of Ideogram. We're looking for great images, and one of the best features, the thing that separates Ideogram from everyone else, is these little hearts. I can save any heart as a seed image that I'll use later. You're going to see a lot of this image because this is from their blog post. People are testing it. We can look, and if you see something you like, you hit the heart, you can use it later. I have a large collection. Like, this is quite good. This is very much the style I expect from them, whereas this is not. So these are things happening in different areas. You can actually build up your own version of the Midjourney Visual Dictionary, which there's a link to right below this video, which is my collection of Midjourney prompts here. You actually store it in Ideogram, and I do this quite a lot. I mostly use it for storing text prompts, so anything that has text in it that I really like. And to get better, instead of looking at Explore, I can go to Top, which are things other people have liked, and say, is there an image that's really good? You can see them using the example prompt from the blog post there. Same one here. A lot of these are from the blog post examples. So is this image. But what we're looking for are images generated with version 1. Only images in the last 8 hours are made in the newer version 1.0, version 1.0. These are quite good. This is very good because the O is actually like an on button. That's why it's got the line through the top of it. I hit the heart and I can use that later to generate a prompt. I'm also looking for other styles of images because now they're claiming to be more than a one-trick pony. I'm building my own personal collection. Perfect text generation is possible. Seeing is believing. Try Ideogram 1.0 for yourself. People are really excited by what's coming out and what they're playing around with. And they're testing because Ideogram's made some really big promises, but can they live up to it? This is the first and most important feature. And if we click on generate, you can see what's changed. You can now do magic prompt on, off, or auto, which is where it goes, oh, your prompt is good enough. We don't need to run it, or we're going to help you. You have 3 ratios and you can choose which model, 0.1, 0.2, 1.0, visibility, private, or public. You can only go private if you have a paid plan. Let's go and look at my profile. You can see 25 of 25 prompts. That means I can generate 25 batches of 4 or 100 images per day, which is very generous. This is a really great tool you can test. The only thing you can't really do is private generation. So if you make an image, you want it to be a secret, then you have to pay to do that. And let's look at pricing. They have 3 tiers: free, basic, and plus. To get private generation, you have to pay $20 a month. If you want to get access to the Ideogram editor, that's interesting. That's a new tool. You have to be on a paid plan. To upload images, you have to be on the paid plan at the highest level. And at this level, then you get priority generation and standard generation. This means faster and relaxed mode. On Midjourney, I have the same thing. When I use up my 15 hours, so Midjourney does it by time versus by number of images. I have hit the limit before because we're building the Midjourney Visual Dictionary. And when I go over that, I just drop to relaxed mode. Instead of taking 30 seconds to make an image, it takes about 1.5 minutes. Here you can see unlimited. So if you're really going to go crazy, it's quite worth it. As soon as you go paid, you can download a high quality image, prior to access, new features, improvements. And there are no restrictions. Very interesting. What's the better plan? I think the most important feature that might appeal to you if you're thinking about going between $8 or $20 is the private generation and image upload. I'll have to know more about this to know if it's worth it, because this is something I want to play around with and test. If it can use my image as a seed, you know that in many of my videos I've shown, most AI image generators make me ugly. I don't want to pay a whole bunch of money to find out that it sees me as ugly. So I will test this on the monthly plan. If you're thinking about going for the higher level, start at the $20 a month before you jump to annual. If these features don't work that well, then it's not worth it. I would definitely be on the monthly plan to test them and then possibly accelerate. I'm going to test the Ideogram editor in a later video, but I want to show you guys the free version first. What we're going to start with is my past image generations. You can see all the things I've done in the past. I'm actually going to just rerun old prompts, and you can see all of my old prompts here. Let me see if I can make it a little better. The very first test I made was making t-shirts for Happy Dot Day. I can open this up and see the exact prompt I used. That's the dimensions. And I can rerun the same prompt. So I've written it right here. You can see they have these buttons to add features to it. And you can see the typography was clicked for this one because that's what that does. Because I'm copying the old prompt, I don't have to do that. And I can just set it to which version I want. Obviously, I want 1.0. You can see a whole bunch more choices when you go to version 1.0. Happy Dot Day with a polka dot party typography. Let's hit it. This is what's called standard generation speed. So it's going to be slower, but already it's going quite fast, which is interesting because I know that a lot of people are using the tool right now. They brought a bunch of users in with their new announcement. So it's probably the busiest it's going to be for a while. And you can see that the jump in quality is basically insane. I could throw this on a t-shirt and sell this quite easily. The polka dots are very good. The font is pretty close to perfect. The A is a little bit wonky, but it's jaunty. It doesn't look broken. It looks intentional. So it falls within that range. These other images are close. This Y turned into an X and it pulled in party. We're going to go back and look for some other ones. And you can see a lot of the images have that Pixar or airbrush color feel. This is another project I was working on. This is a blog post where I talk about creating the perfect logo. We're going to see if we can make a better logo now, because this is really important. And again, we're in 1.1, we're in version 1.0, and we're going to click generate to see if we can make this. And if it understands that Argentinian blue is a specific hexadecimal color, it's only counted as one prompt. So even in version 1.0, it's not counting it as a higher number, like 1.0 costs 3 prompts or 5 prompts. The first thing we're looking at is coherence. So serve no baker. This has the correct words. Serve no baker, no spelling problems. Here we have serve, and then this is gobbledygook. Serve baker is fine. And then here it pulled in words outside the quote, like the word vector got pulled in. So what we're seeing is some very different things. This is the best of the 4. It's not life-changing. It's definitely okay. We're going to look at some other old prompts. So here's dot day. Here's one that I really enjoyed. I like this one a lot. This is, again, Ideogram version 1. We're seeing the difference between version 0.1 and version 1. We're going to do the exact same generation. I'm very impressed with how fast it's generating. I noticed a huge difference. We're looking for a retro 1970s Apollo 13, a motorcycle style design with the text to the moon. This is very good. It says Apollo 10 instead of Apollo 13, or maybe that's supposed to be Apollo with an extra L. If you take the to the moon off the top, this is a great image. This is unbelievable as far as the quality down here. The text is not perfect. We're seeing definitely a jump in quality. This was trying to create a design for one of my programs called Cyber Staffing Agency. And we're going to go through the same process, hit generate, and we're just going to let it run. The same thing happens with a lot of the image generation tools. At 99%, it looks terrible. Then at 100%, it looks great. Here, the text is really solid. Here, the text is off. This is pretty close to perfect. And this is very solid as well. The two Fs are touching each other, but otherwise this is great. I like this one the best. This is one I would use. So this is something that I would just use as a logo. It's great. I'm really pleased with that. So here's a t-shirt design. It says retro vector t-shirt logo design with dragon with glasses, black background, sun in the background of the image with the text year of the dragon, graffiti, photo, poster, 3D. Those are the 3 buttons that I clicked when I made it. What I'm looking for is a t-shirt design that I can immediately throw onto a shirt without needing to do any editing. Very close with this design, but you can see there's 2 G's in dragon, which is quite annoying. And then this dragon looks a little bit wonky in the text. What I normally do is generate multiple versions of an image to get the result I want. And you'll notice that down here is that I have many versions when I'm working through a process like the 99 prompts logo. This is the exact one that I used for 99 prompts. This is for Creative version 2 just a couple of weeks ago because I'm working on the release of 99 prompts version 2. Let's see how much of a difference just a few weeks can make. Again, we're in version 1.0, 1 by 1, click generate. One of the differences between Ideogram and Midjourney is concurrent. I can have up to 10 images generated at the same time in Midjourney or in the queue while 4 are going at the same time. This is a huge jump in quality. Now I'm seeing the stuff I wanted to see. This is so much better, and it may have to do with the fact that my prompts were better for this version, but these are all really good logos. This looks amazing. This looks amazing. This is the only one that's not amazing, and that's because there's some issues with the background image, just making the text a little hard to see, but there's no spelling issues. All 4 of these have the right spelling. Very cool. I was working on redoing the logo for my LinkedIn newsletter, and this is metallic blue, modern, sleek logo with the text 100K from ChatGPT, typography. 25 images a day seems generous until you want to try all the features. It starts to feel like not enough. All right. So this one is good. This is really good. For this image, I would remove the background and put something else behind it. But it's not terrible. It's just a matter of I would tweak it. And I just want to always be honest with you guys of how I'm going to use it. This is the logo for the Artificial Intelligence podcast. I paid someone to redo this. I'm going to take this exact image, rerun it in version 1.0. I'm actually going to use this as a seed image. Seeing this, I realized that I didn't need to hire the person on Fiverr to redraw the image. I can now do it in here. The best of these 4 is number 2. It's not perfect, but I can regenerate this 5 or 10 times and I'll get the result I want. You either need to make 1 logo per day or be on a paid plan. Just depends the amount of work you want to run through this tool. This is an image I really liked. I really like where this is going. It reminds me of the animation style in the movie Trolls. You can see I need to turn off that image. Hit generate. And this is really a test to see, is it better for prompts I've already run through it? Is it better than the past? Already we're seeing that the spelling is correct for all of these. The first one may have 2 Y's after the crazy. Now what I'm going to do is remix the image and hit generate to see if using the seed image, how much of a difference that makes. There's just a huge jump in quality, really good. We've used 10 out of our image generations. I don't want to use them all. Let's go to the next test. We're going to do next is test all the images from my recent video called Image Wars, where I was testing prompts from DALL-E 3, Stable Cascade, Midjourney, and Leonardo. And we're just going to test how Ideogram holds up against the competition. This is the first test. It was a floral little egg craft with spring flowers. I'm copying and pasting in the prompt exactly as it was in that test. So you can see how it compares. Here's the slide from last week where I thought Midjourney was the best one. Leonardo was a little bit off in the shape of the A. And now we're going to look here, and I actually think this is the best image. It's not what I asked for exactly. They went a little creative. The issue with this image is that the background is too dark. It's hard to see it. This is in letter 4, but we're in the same range. Our next test is the avocado test. An illustration of an avocado sitting in the therapist's chair saying, "I feel so empty inside," and a pit-sized hole at center. Therapist, a spoon, scribbles notes. We have multiple characters on the screen as well as text. This is a very complicated prompt. None of these got it exactly right. All 4 of these have the pit still inside, not the hole where the pit is supposed to be. Even the Dolly 3 image, which is the only one that includes the therapist with the spoon, doesn't have the text. And this is an example from the Dolly page. So this one should be the best. Ideogram just won. So it's won this test from the image generation, whereas I would say this is better. Coherence, it has the missing pit. There's some misinterpretation of the spoon. You can see the spoon is here. Here the spoon is coming inside the person's, or like going in and eating out the tummy. But this is very close. We went. It has a therapist instead of a spoon therapist. But overall, we're seeing the empty pit 3 out of 4 times. The "I feel so empty inside" is really good here. Very interesting to see how it's interpreting this. So this is very solid, very surprising. I never know what's going to happen. I'm running these tests in real time to give you authenticity. This prompt is post-punk core, beautiful, cute, reggae. Woman with black long hair, dreadlocks, and boots lying in a hammock, diesel punk, flower punk. Of these, Dolly 3 is the one that had the flower punk involved and the diesel punk. The rest of these just look like photographs of a woman in a hammock, which is not bad. Okay, I have to zoom in a little bit to see in this case. This is very solid. This is pretty much exactly what the prompt was looking for, although it looks like she's not wearing shorts. She's missing a leg. Goes here and then disappears. Don't like that image. And I don't really like this one. You can see that perhaps diesel punk and flower punk are outside of how Ideogram is trained. So it's not quite perfect. I would say it's not the winner of that test. Our next test was very simple. Racer signature, street style logo, Minecraft style pics. On our original example, my 2 favorites were Midjourney and Leonardo AI. Midjourney has a really cool pixel style image. This is not quite Minecraft. This is a little bit more higher resolution than Minecraft. It looks pretty cool. And these are very 8-bit. This really didn't get that pixel style idea. Let's zoom in and see if there's any element of that pulling in. So definitely not this image. No. Now these are awesome images, but what I'm testing is the coherence. It doesn't have the pixel style or pixel art style. It didn't win that prompt. And that's why we do these tests. Next test is for this paper style art. Let's look at the example again. So this is a very long prompt, multidimensional character style paper, Chinese illustration, sunshine background, 2 hands, paper cutting style hands are passing a heart. Hands of love, Mendel's vector painting, Thomas Kincaid. The key words here, Thomas Kincaid is a very strong, important word. Almost the rest of the words are supplementary. We have 2 hands, we have a heart element in the middle in all 4 of these. This starts to come down to personal taste. In my opinion, Dolly 3 is quite good, but there's a problem with the fingers. And then otherwise, Leonardo's the winner. Out of the 4, this is the only one that's close to a paper art style. We're seeing that when we go way outside the area of expertise for the tool, we're not getting a great result. You might have to use magic prompt, which will be the last test we run. This is a really difficult prompt because there's a lot of elements. It's a big test of coherence or knowing where to put things. In a rain-drenched world, she takes a moment. It's a post-apocalyptic world. She has her left hand holding the umbrella, and her right hand has a mask that looks somewhere between a piglet and a dog, and then she's got a purple windbreaker that's supposed to go to mid-thighs, and she's barefoot with an empty stare. You can see she's barefoot. Here, the feet aren't showing. She has the mask in all 4 images, which is astounding. The umbrella, unfortunately, is in the wrong hand, but that's very easy to fix by flipping the image. The mask does look halfway between a pig and a dog. This is not quite a dog. This is not quite a pig. This throws things off because she has 2. The other thing is that the mask is supposed to be above her head, which it accomplishes in 3 out of the images. The code is to the right point. Overall, for this prompt, which is one of the hardest ones in my testing set, Ideogram is the winner. Now let's go to the next test. Looking at our past example, we have Dolly 3, Stable Cascade, Leonardo, and Midjourney. Midjourney was quite good. Leonardo again won, I think. It's very good at this style of kirigami, where it's a bunch of pieces of construction paper layered on top of each other. So it's like a 3D image. Like my son's diorama, which sometimes you can see off my shoulder behind me, a bunch of foxes. That's what this reminds me of. This is not Kirigami, so it fails on the area of coherence, but this is a cool image. I believe a lot of this has to do with magic prompt, possibly affecting the image. And this image, it almost looks like the same woman in all four. This just looks like an older version of the same woman. You can see the nose shape is the same for these four. The glasses are the same for these two, almost the same for her. It really feels like the same person. So I wonder if Ideogram's going to use the same woman. Not quite. This is much more colorful, much more unique. This doesn't feel like a photograph. It feels like a drawing. Is it the winner? Not really. This is too scary. I want to get away from these because they're too scary. I'm going to see our next test got me into trouble with Dolly 3. It shouted at me twice. It wouldn't make the image. It got mad because I had the words Marvel in there, Iron Man. These don't look like Iron Man. They were just an inspiration, but it triggered that word. It was also triggered by the word Gucci pattern on the armor. None of these was a winner for me. None of these was an image that I would actually use. But here we have it. So this feels like Gucci Samurai armor. I can tell right away that this prompt would need a lot of refining because it doesn't have as much of the Iron Man pull. This just looks like Gucci Samurai armor. But it's giving me a lot to work with. So this prompt needs some refinement, which is okay. And we're going to go to the logo test. This is a test for this channel because I was looking for an AI news logo to put in the top corner of the thumbnails when it's a news report. Each of these is okay. None of these is usable right away. Each of these I would have to play around with to make the logo exactly what I want. This is crazy. This is very cool, but I think it's too hard to read. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Which of these logos should I switch to? This is very cool. I think it's too cool. And then the rest of these, it seems like a painting in the background. So the logos are all boring. There's something triggering this issue with the prompt because I made a lot of logos in the past. And I think that it's the way I have the commas. Round logo with the text AI News. I'm not even going to put a color in. I'm going to turn magic prompt on. And we're going to see what happens. It's going to rewrite the prompt before creating the image. So we can actually see what it changed the prompt to when I click on one of these images. See, now it says a captivating, vibrant 3D render of a round logo featuring the text AI News and unique combination of anime, graffiti, and Yu-Gi-Oh styles. Look how long the prompt has become. I'm going to add some elements to it. Blue, neon. Use magic prompt on again. And you're going to see a massive jump as well. And we're going to see how easy it is to prompt engineer with Ideogram. We don't have to add really complicated descriptions. Just adding a word or two should make a significant difference. And the magic will take it the rest of the way. So these are very cool. This is very good. It's a little hard on the readability scale. Almost looked like all news. This could be interpreted as an L. However, this is so cool. This is very tempting for me to use. I want to go to my profile and look at what I've liked. I want to test this one. I'm just going to hit remix for this image because this is a different style. Notice that it's not that Pixar style. It's very cool. I'm just going to hit remix, and very important is you can choose the image weight on a scale of 1 to 5. How important is the original image? Right now it's a 3 out of 5. I'm going to leave it there. We have magic prompt on. Let's let it just go absolutely crazy and see how close it can get. We merge these two things. Ooh, these are looking really cool. So the quality jumped up of the image. It's really personal taste which of these four you like, but all four of these have great text, great usability. These would be very easy to use as a t-shirt. Overall, very impressed by this image. Let's try this one. This is another type of image. That's a great scene image because you can see the text is pretty good. There's a double P here and this says perfect. It's perfect. But the structure itself, I think, is good. And I'm going to regenerate this again. The problem in the image is pulling into this. So the reason this went wrong is that the spelling issues pulled over from our older generated image. And that's important to understand, is that if you use an old image that has a spelling problem in it, that spelling problem may pull in even though the prompt is correctly spelled. Now we know. Okay, let's go back to the home page. I believe that their organization here is very good for finding inspiration, what is happening in the feed. You can see where people are getting images that are quite realistic. This looks like a real person. So the ability to pull in, this is a very good style image here. You can see Disney/anime style. I'm going to save this because I may use it. I look for that and to see how can people create it. Now this is a paper image. This is very interesting because they effectively created a new style. I definitely need to grab this. They successfully activated that Kirigami style that we were looking for earlier. Now I know how to do that. This is how you can become a really good prompt engineer. I think that this organization is better than any of the other platforms for this one particular ability, which is finding what other people have done and building on top of it. And this is how I design my prompts inside of Ideogram. I like this platform. I'm really interested in this. Let me know what you guys think. Do you want me to do more testing? Do you want me to grab the paid version and do a deep dive into what their editor looks like and what happens when I try and beautify my own face? Then that will be in part 2. One of the biggest challenges that I face with my job is testing all of these tools. And I'm always on the fence. I want to buy them, but then I think, is this a tool that I'm going to use enough that it justifies the purchase? Because I have so many tools I use in my arsenal that I spend most of my time testing new tools. I don't have time to spend really just using one tool anymore as much as I want to. I would love to spend just 3 months mastering Ideogram and just getting perfect at it, but I don't have the bandwidth. Is this worth the investment? Is it worth the upgrade? That's the most important question for me. Compared to what you get from Midjourney, this is very solid. It does something slightly different. It's a really good tool to consider adding to your toolkit. 100% the free version should be part of your toolkit. It's been part of mine since the day it launched way back in August, and I believe that for sure. 25 images a day, you can see I did a lot of tests, and I didn't run out. I still have a couple left to use after this video because I still want to play around with some things for myself. I love it. The question is about the paid version. I'm going to have to upgrade and do a test. I'm going to do the monthly version at $20 a month and see what it does with the images of myself. And that will be in part 2 of this video. But I want to first test the free version. The question is, has it gotten better? Yes, for sure. I believe right now, this is the best free image generator. When we're comparing free to free, when we're comparing this to the Leonardo free image generation, when we're comparing this to Stable Cascade, which is a free open source image generator, Ideogram is just really good. I'm very surprised, but very pleased that they haven't taken away the free tier like Midjourney did at a certain point. Overall, this is a really great tool. Is it perfect? No. We saw that if you use a past image that has a misspelling, that past misspelling will pull into the new image. Unfortunately, I can't test what happens when I upload images myself, so I'll have to wait for the next video on this topic, but golly, this is a very interesting tool. But the most important thing is, what do you guys think? Image generation is very subjective. It's, do you like the image? I've always really liked what Ideogram can do, but I just felt that Pixar kind of cartoonish style was too strong. I can see now they're moving away from that. They're really claiming to have great photorealism. And I want to see if you guys see that in the images and the demonstrations and the test I showed you. Did this tool impress you, or were you thinking, it's okay, but it's not life-changing? I know there are some videos out there that say this is the best thing since sliced bread. That's not really my approach. This is not a sales video. This is a test where I'm making a decision myself. Do I think it's worth upgrading? Am I going to use this as my main logo generator? Right now, most of the logos that I use are generated using Bing Image Generator. Even though I have DALL-E 3, the paid version, I find that Bing Image Generator makes better logos than the other tools. However, I believe that Ideogram with version 1 can push ahead of that, but it requires a little bit more finesse on my part. It requires a little bit of better prompting, a little bit more skill from me. But I believe that when I apply more skill, it will become a better image and logo generator. So that's really going to become part of my workflow. Very interesting to see how things are changing. And I want to just take that perspective. Overall, I'm very pleased with this tool. I think the free version needs to be added to your arsenal. If you haven't created an account, do it now, just in case they take away the free accounts at some point. You want to lock that in so your grandfather. I love this tool. I'm really excited to see what it does. For a while, I thought they were in trouble. When they started raising more money, I was thinking they only have one feature. They don't have a product because other tools can add that ability, which other tools have done. Midjourney has it now. DALL-E has it now. And I'm sure Leonardo will continue to add and improve in that area as it adds more features and more generations. Very important to see that this tool is taking things seriously. They use the massive investment, I think, in an effective way. There's a very good chance this tool takes a dominant position because it's really focusing on some very interesting things. And for a lot of people, the most important element is coherence, which means if I say a dog on top of a table, horse below the table, it creates an image that has those two things in the right place. A lot of tests I've seen of that, and a lot of their examples that's there. I encourage you to run those tests yourself so that you do more than just watch this video. You actually try this tool. It's absolutely free. I encourage you to sign up, check it out. Let me know your thoughts below this video, if it's worth your time, if the juice is worth the squeeze, or if you looked at the images and go, I hate these. All of that really matters because this is the future of graphic design. And the question is if this tool is going to be part of that feature. Let me know in the comments. I do read every comment. I want to see what you guys have to say. Thank you so much for staying all the way to the end of this extended video. I appreciate everything you guys do. I'll see you in the next video. Thank you so much for watching. If you liked that video, I think you're going to like this one or maybe even this one. Check them out.